Perfect. My name is Daniel Elkins. This is Uros, my co-founder, DGRS Labs, and we're going to talk about gamifying engagement. So how to turn holders into contributors. So when we were looking at this process, we want to talk about how to take, the process of empty disk boards, if you keep it going forward, to take it from the fact that about 90% of Web3 communities become passive spectators after launch. You are building up this theory of this is an incredible thing and everybody's exciting it, and launch happens, and then what next? It becomes announcements and not the engagement. People join communities to experience a story, a narrative. Stories create identity, identity creates belonging, and ultimately belonging drives actions. Now, the strongest communities in the world, not just in the crypto space, Web3, are stories and communities that co-create their narratives together. So how do we gamify this, right? How do you turn an audience into participants, where users become characters inside a narrative, and the community actually decides the way that your lived brand experience, right, where you can actually participate and feel like you are shaping not just the world, but the lore. You become the story, you are inside it. And this is why we developed Connexus. And so Connexus is an AI storytelling platform that allows you to take any concept, any idea, any product, and with a simple click of one or two buttons, turn it into a gamified story. And you can see my co-founder is showing you off some of the story controls that you can put in. Now, we've been developing with authors and new story titles and teasers. You can do something as simple as, right, develop a game where you use your mind in order to control what happens on the screen. And then what happens if that computer game begins to take over your mind? Let's play out that story. And I could write that in a sentence or two, and it would instantly turn into a gamified thing. And we have every single level of detail where you can preserve relationships, where you can put in winning and losing stories and key events, or it could be just something super simple, right? So let's show a quick example of how we've done that. Right, so we are partnered with a couple of different projects, one of which is called Nonos. It's a zero trust operating system being built on Rust, and they wanted to gamify the education about their product. How do you learn? Through games, right? We learn about the world through the games we play. And so we turned the gamification of learning about, why is it important to have a zero trust operating system? And we turn it into this fully sort of interactive experience. So choose your own adventure. There is, of course, it reads to you, there's music, and we have the ability to, of course, also plug in video API if you want little video scenes instead. So this is an entire thing that will track every single decision that you make. It's generating in real time the pictures. We will be the only people who ever see these images unless we save them and share them out through our stories. So this is a concept that we begin to apply to how do you take a community and then allow them to create their own stories. Now, the next level of this is what we have with the Governance Hub. Do you want to tell them a little bit about the Governance Hub, Uros?
Yeah, so, well, the Connexus app is something that is fit for any project to help with community activation or gamified education, all sorts of stuff. The Governance Hub is more for projects that are looking for IP co-development, that are really more into stories. So this is the app that we use with our community of a few hundred holders, where they actually vote each week on what happens next in a saga, like a media franchise. And we have 75% weekly participation, and yeah, they basically decide what they want the main character to do, what they want to happen, to see happen next. And yeah, we have a few seasons of this sort of stuff, and as it's gotten a bit complex as a franchise, as most do, we made another app called Lordex, that also, IP first projects could use to simplify stuff. So it's like an interactive mind map on a timeline, and you can just see all the connections, read through all of the stuff, all of the explanations, find anything. It's like a knowledge graph basically, and yeah, that's about it. It's all gonna look a lot better pretty soon, as we also recently made basically front end and design system that we could also offer to other projects, where essentially we've automated all of our front end development. So we're migrating our apps right now to like a new UI, and this is something that could be pretty cool to other projects. And that's about it. I'll let Daniel talk a bit about the real world impact.
Sure. So as part of what we did when we started this project, we wanted to create real world impact. So with our first initial raise, we actually partnered with Lions Clubs International, world's largest service organization, 1.4 million members in 200 countries. And I am currently a candidate for international director. I will be elected in Hong Kong coming up. We took our initial raise and then donated it directly to charity, and then allowed every member of our community on chain through our governance hub to decide what projects we funded. So we're partnered with one of the world's largest service organizations to give opportunities to our partners to be able to give back, with real world impact, where your community actually decides where the dollars go. And then since we started, we've led 6 mission trips: Kenya, Turkey, Morocco, India twice, and Kenya once again, and where we have helped about 500,000 people through this process of interconnecting stories. And the best part is, because it's all a part of this like community engagement, every decision that you make exists on chain, and then there are on-chain rewards based off of that. So we have people who voted to build the well in Morocco, and then they have for their own NFTs, here's this little badge that you've got that only the people who helped make that well project possible do. So this is what we call our sort of engagement flywheel. So you start with a story to draw them in, whatever your project is. You get them participating. You get them identifying with the world that they are creating. So they're not just a holder. They are literally creating the lore of your world. It goes to ownership, and then ownership to advocacy, and advocacy to growth. And it just cycles back through. Communities don't grow from marketing. They grow from meaning. They grow from people feeling like they're a part of this world. And so the Ethereum layer needs a culture layer. It solved the problem of digital ownership, and narrative storytelling solves the problems of engagement and retention. And assets need meaning to sustain value, and stories provide that meaning. We have people who for 3 years have logged in every single week and made decisions on how the story evolves. And the best part is we now have this collective narrative that they feel that they've actually added to this layer. And the back-end system of all of this can be used for any project that is looking to help gamify. Would you like an interactive experience to teach people about your mind maps, to teach people about your different projects? We have the ability to do this. The future of Web3 isn't owned, it is co-authored. If anybody's interested to learn more about this, dgrslabs.inc, biz@dgrslabs.inc, and let's build worlds together. Thank you very much.
Have any projects already paid you to integrate your storytelling? Can you please tell of some of your success stories?
Yeah, so we've worked with quite a few projects across Web3 and Web2. On Ethereum, we've sort of ended up in this more like privacy-first ecosystem, where projects, they really want to tell their story and why privacy matters, and educate people on how to run a node through a fun way, or how to install their OS, that sort of stuff. So we have Nonos, which is a Rust-based OS on Ethereum. We have Anyone, they were previously called Aitor, which is like an onion routing layer. And yeah, we have about 9 or 10 products across Web3 and across Web2 we're working with.
So
Yeah.
are you like a for-profit organization? So the projects, they pay you to integrate all of the storytelling, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice.
And right now we're currently gamifying the education for Lions International. So that's our biggest, sort of client that we're working with. And part of that process is we're working with a university in Mexico that does like online education, and they want to teach people Spanish online. So we are gamifying how to do that through engagement, because every single decision is tracked. So we can do a pre-test and a post-test to show what you've actually learned by playing through the system.
Do you use blockchain to track all of the past interactions of your users?
Yeah. So this is really the only part where Web3 really matters for us. I mean, we have some parts where we implement it, but it's more for like, it's nice. It's a nice to have, and then it's good for IP to actually track it and reward royalties for the creators on our platform. Thank you.